Good morning, parents. Thank you for logging in early and on time. Also, for some of you, we still have parents streaming in, but it's slightly a minute after 9:30. So we will start, so that we can cover what we want to cover today lah, hopefully. Yeah, I hope you've had some coffee, tea, or whatever you need to fuel you up as we listen in to today's seminar. Okay, so as you know, this is the third of the series of three seminars. So today our session will be a little shorter, just 2 hours, yeah, as compared to 2 weeks ago when we met for 2 hour, 2.5. So by about 11 or 11:10, like that, we will see if we can address questions. Okay, but as you know, along the way, you can note it in the chat, and then I'll see if I can address those questions, as and when they come in lah. Okay. All right. So today, okay, let me just what do you call this? Flash the house rules. So MWS will require some of these conditions to be followed. Okay. So I think you kind of know this. All right. So today we're going to um focus on how to raise resilient children. Okay. And what resilient means, there are many different definition that could come with resilience, but we shall unpack that as we go along in this seminar this morning. Okay. Okay. Maybe as a start, for parents who are here already, okay, let me just wait for a while. Okay, the Slido is loaded. So I wanted to just ask first before we move on to today's topic, right? What uh, are the positive parenting ideas that you might have tried to do or have done more of in the past 2 weeks since we met? Yeah, the first time. Yeah, because some of you may already have for the triple P ideas. So what could you have been more conscious about, or those who are new to the positive parenting ideas, what might you have tried? So you can uh, screenshot the QR code to get into the poll, okay? Or go to slido.com and indicate the password there, okay? As we, um, admit more parents in, maybe some of you can do this for me. Encouragement. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Nice. Listen, slow down. Yes. Yeah, and encouragement, if you remember, we spoke about giving descriptive praises, right? Specific descriptive praises. Yep. What else might you have tried or done more of? Positive learning. Hmm. Right, right. Um, I think I like the idea that we look at what are the positives we can talk about, right, with our children, positive experiences, positive news that we can share with them. Oh, mother-daughter time, very nice. Yep, yep. And family meeting, wow, this one I like. Yeah, having everyone sit together, right? I believe family meetings is where we talk about, what's happening, maybe um what do you call that? Emphasize some ground rules, right? Or maybe celebrate good things that are happening in the family. So yeah, family time. Yep, yep. Okay, nice. Every weekend spend time, correct. Of course, of course. And I thank you for spending your Saturday morning here first before you know, have the rest of the time with your children. Okay, let me just take a minute more to see what else parents do. Encouragement. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's I would say it's also tied to today's topic, encouragement, because resilience in a child would be better instilled or better developed with parents' support and encouragement, right? Okay, very good. All right, so let's move on to today's topic. Just thank you, parents, for the. Okay, so before that, let's recap what were the core principles of positive parenting that we spoke about 2 weeks ago. So these are the five basic principles of positive parenting. Okay, so many of you have talked about creating a positive, interesting environment. Okay, taking care of yourself when you do mother-daughter time, right? Family time. So those are some of the things that you have tried to do. And I think the core message that we also wanted to put across was to make sure that we are consistent in the way we practice all these principles. Okay, how do we act quickly, especially when there's an issue of discipline or rule breaking that happen? Okay, so how do we act quickly on ensuring the consequences are met? And then, of course, teaching in an acceptable way, finding teachable moments, finding everyday situations to elicit learning points from our children. Okay, I remember talking about being calm ourselves. How do we also regulate our own emotions, right? And um, I think some of the parents wrote in the Slido, right? Listening more, listening more is in a way allowing ourselves to stay a bit more calm, right? When we, what do you call that? Relating with our children. Okay. And of course, last but not least, we wanted to ensure that there is fair and predictable consequences. Okay. Consequences cannot be a surprise to the children. Okay. They should know what consequences come with rule breaking. Okay. Okay, so that's very briefly what we spoke about in the first seminar. And then, yeah, I think I introduced this, what do you call that, ideas about the different transitions in early adolescence. Okay, yeah, so you have your children are mainly P3 to P6, so 9 to 12 years old, they are neither here nor there. But some of you may have older children, so it might not be something entirely new. Although, yes, we must remember that every child is different, right? Okay, so we focus on social and emotional transitions in children, okay, at this middle childhood stage. Okay. All right. So another poll that I want to um find out from you guys, what are some of the significant changes that you might have noticed in your preteens? You know, uh if you don't mind, maybe just share, oh, my 9-year-old is starting to show this, or my 12-year-old is doing this. So I kind of have a bit of a context. Yeah. What you are referring to. Okay. Come, let's take some time to do this. Just indicate your child's age. Yeah. P3 challenging authority. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I hear a lot of parents share about how it's very hard for them to listen to rules or follow rules, right? So it could be something that's hinging towards challenging authority, right? Kind of not seeing uh others' point of view as well as we hope or want them to, right? Okay, what else? My 9-year-old testing limitations with screen time. Yes, yes. That is a universal concern we all have, right? Screen time. 12-year-old more mindful of parents. Yes, yes, definitely. Oh wow, more appreciative towards parents. Okay. Nice. Yeah. 9.5-year-old more reserved. Last time more talkative. True, true. I had a yeah, as you're all typing, right? This was similar to uh what I encountered for my eldest boy. When he was when he was like lower primary, he was like, very jovial, very cheerful, right? And all that. But when he went into P4, P5, he became a bit more reserved, less outspoken, and then the teenage years come in already. Yeah, so it was quite challenging to get him to talk, right? Yeah. Angry screening. Angry request for more freedom. Wow, at age 10. And what does it mean by freedom, right? Maybe going to school on their own or going out with friends. Yeah, maybe, perhaps. Yeah. Stop. What's this? Stop screen time, angry. Become sore loser. Like, all very competitive, but always want to win now or to be number one, I believe. Yeah. Okay. 11-year-old already want to hang out with friends. That's right. Yeah. P3 more independent, P4 mindset, like to help others. Yeah. So there's a variation of how we notice our children have changed, right? Wait, I got some more on the chat. Let me see. My 9-year-old telling me peer pressure, want freedom. Correct. To stop asking to do housework. I see. So negotiating certain boundaries, correct? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, perhaps if I were to be doing this 10 years ago, I remember people talking about maybe those in secondary school that might be going through some of these changes. But I believe you all agree with me that children or these significant changes that we see in our children are getting at the younger age, right? Somehow, yeah, correct. So they grow up in a way, grow up faster or earlier than they should lah. So sometimes it kind of keeps us or make us off balance a little bit, right? Like, hey, how come you're only 10 and you are like this, So it makes us question some of these things. So yeah, I think it's not just you guys in this Zoom room, but I think a lot of parents out there, I'm sure your friends or your peers also agree that teenagers or adolescents don't just start at 13, right? Yeah. So yeah, so some of these things hopefully we can share some ideas lah how we can as parents play our part in addressing some of these changes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, this one I showed in the earlier seminar, okay, about how it's important to always remember that all children are different. For those of us who have more than one child, so especially, so I only have two, but they are poles apart, and I have to always adjust how I interact or relate with them. Okay, but end of the day, if you remember the last point I have there, is we need to look up for our child's potential challenges, given his or her personality, given his or her way of relating to others, given his or her way of seeing problems. So all these things differ for each child. Okay, so we'll talk about that a bit more. All right. Yeah, parents, if you still have other things to comment, just put in the chat, okay? So at seminar 2, if you remember, we had introduced this 6 building blocks, okay, about respect, about being considerate, how to develop good communication and social skills, develop good self-esteem. We talk a bit about problem solving and how we can support them to become independent lah. Okay, so yeah, so some of you or one of two parents talk about, oh, at 10 they or 11 they want to be more independent and all that, and yeah, that's rightly so. And how do we facilitate that growth that they are experiencing? Okay, that was seminar 2. So I just wanted to put this here because largely when whether it's our seminar or past seminars that I've done, when parents talk about raising pre-teenagers, those in middle childhood, they want to find out how to encourage our child to open up and share. A lot of times, there is very little room for us to enter into their world, because they are very reluctant to talk. So this is something hopefully we can build on later. And then, like I said earlier about building self-esteem and self-confidence, at this age, because of the different changes they are going through, a very confident child might also eventually, feel a bit unsure about himself or herself, maybe due to certain development, whether socially, emotionally, physically. Yeah, just now someone talked about the child being more organized by appearance, looks, and all that, right? So these are all happening at this stage. And the other thing that I also kept hearing, for those who have, more than one child, right? There's always this idea of how to ensure fairness among siblings, because we could hear things, especially if we have older kids, then the younger one might say, oh, how come Koko, or how come no kakak can do this when she was 12, how come my turn cannot? There's a lot of such questions from parents lah. So yeah, I thought I just put this here, and not sure how much it resonates with all of you, but hopefully we can talk about this as well. Okay, so today, like I said, our main topic is raising resilient children. And these are the 4 areas of discussion we're going to take you through. Okay, what it is, what are the building blocks, and then we'll have a little summary before we take questions at the end. Okay. So before that, I want to show you this video. You all might have seen it on YouTube, but I thought it's very short and sweet to kind of sum up what resilience mean lah. Okay, so yeah, let's have a look.
Who does it look like?
It looks like me.
That's right. I want you to do everything that you can to knock your toy down. Who is the strongest in class? Jeron, come on up, please. I'm going to give Jeron a prop, and he's going to try to knock it off the table. Ready, Jeron? And children, who can tell me what it means to have resilience? Yes, Paige?
Resilience means if make the toy fall down, it'll come back up very, very fast.
Very nice.
Okay, so that's what it is, according to the video, right? What being resilient means. Parents, if you want to comment on the chat, please go ahead. So yeah, so it's about getting up when we fall. Okay, getting up on our own when we fall, getting up quickly when we fall. We don't allow ourselves to feel down. So I mean, in an extended period of time. Yeah. So I do not know about your group, but I do hear other parents talking about how sometimes children, they are not able to get up as fast as we thought they could, yeah, or as fast as we could when we were children. So what are those factors that could help uh, our children get up in a way that is most or rather in a pace that's most comfortable for them, right? Yeah, so that's a question that is, I think, depends on the child's personality, like I said, and also the environment around him or her. Okay. So, what, in a nutshell, what emotional resilience means is to recognize, understand, and accept feelings. Okay. So, look at that. First of all, recognizing the feeling, understanding what it means, and accepting it. Okay. So, uh, and then after that, we need to be able to express those feelings in appropriate ways. Okay, ways that are healthy, ways that are safe. Okay. And then once this happens, how can we face and resolve difficult situations? So it becomes a learning opportunity. Okay. And then, of course, last but not least, how do we cope with stressful or upsetting situations if they happen in future? Okay. So and I said earlier, right, these abilities are related to their development, be it language, cognitive, their personality, their environment around them. Okay. And it develops gradually. It's different for every child. Okay. Some child could show it earlier, some need a bit of guidance or hand holding. Some will be able to do it or rather show resilience later on. Okay. Yeah. So basically, if you want to kind of sum up what we just said in this slide, is about managing feelings and coping with day-to-day stresses and major life events that could happen to them. Okay. All right. So why is resilience important? Because in triple P or positive parenting, uh, we are very concerned about how children need to learn to cope with everyday feelings, okay? Because it is a skill that they need to bring through to their adulthood, you know, which I'm sure you will agree lah. So it's that delicate balance we have as parents. How much do we want to expose our children to difficult situations or let them learn or or how much do we want to protect them from difficult situations? Yeah, so it's a question that is constantly on our minds, I believe. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, so in fact, children like us, right, they also experience stressful events when they prepare for exams. Okay, that's pretty stressful, right? We can be stressed also as we help them prepare. Okay, getting poor marks. Okay, that's especially when they compare with a friend and all that, and they get it lower. We've all been there before, I believe. Okay, that becomes quite stressful. Okay, not winning an important game. I think a parent earlier talked about the child being a sore loser, like meaning can't accept not winning. Okay, so that becomes a stressful event as well. Falling out with friends. Okay, we spoke about how at this stage friendship and making friends is very very critical, right? So if you don't friend each other anymore, then it becomes quite a big event in their life. Okay, what else? These are more serious, stressful life events, I would say. Okay. Although those that in the previous slides are, I'm not saying it's not serious, but these are more serious. So things like death in the family or death of a pet or even death of someone they do not know, you know, but maybe in the same school, same age, same residential area. Yeah. So, and then divorce. Okay. Divorce is quite clear when parents separate or parents decide to split up. That's definitely a difficult transition for children. Illnesses, okay, whether theirs, family members, or anyone else, especially if they have a close relationship, and losses. Losses can be different things, okay? Of course, death, divorce, illness are different types of losses, right? That will create some kind of void in our lives. But with things like maybe changing school, changing teacher, that their favorite teacher move on to another school, you know, or neighbor moving away, they're close to. So these are different losses that they might go through. Or even sometimes, right, when we want to teach our children independence, right, at this pre-teenage years, it could also be a sense of loss to them and us, right? Like, oh, they're quite big already. They can take the bus on their own, don't need me to send already. So these are, maybe the less talked about ones. Okay. All right. So when we talk about ability to cope with feelings, it's, like I said, very much related to their social skills and the relationships that they have built. What about their tolerance and compassion? So this is the child's uh, social emotional makeup, right? Tolerance and compassion, coping with life experiences, and how do we prevent emotional problems in the future? Okay, it is said that children who are more resilient could face emotional problems smoothly as compared to maybe others. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is just, highlighting what are the benefits. I think we all would agree. If I can just zoom in on the second point about being empathic and sensitive. So I think a lot of times we also hear parents saying, children, my child it does not show empathy to others, not sensitive to my feelings, not sensitive to the siblings' feelings and all that. So it does come out quite a bit in our work. So yeah, this is something that we want to talk about later. And then, of course, the last point about uh, emotionally resilient children are less likely to resort to unhelpful ways of coping. Okay, so what are unhelpful ways? Acting out. Okay, acting out can be like what you say. They don't want to talk to parents. They just keep themselves in the room, or they might talk back. Yeah, they might challenge authority. So these are acting out behaviors. Avoiding or denying. So sometimes they become extra defensive. Yeah. Maybe we're just talking about, maybe, could you help me clean up your room? And then they get very, no, I didn't mess it up, it was someone else. So yeah, so these moods might come out in a way. And also over reliance on others when they can't complete their own tasks, and then they must wait for mom or dad to help them with it. And at this age, sometimes maybe, it can get worrying lah, if just basic skills of maybe getting ready or packing your bag and all that, but you need someone else to do it for you. Okay. Okay, so what are the 6 building blocks? I think we briefly mentioned. Okay, these are the 6 that we will go through today. Okay, yep, all right. So okay, dive straight into the first building block, which is recognizing and accepting feelings. Okay. So it's a developmental change lah, that all children go through as they learn and recognize their emotions and also others' emotions. I know my niece in infant care, she's 1.5, she's already learning all those faces like angry, sad, and happy and all that. So children are already exposed at this stage, and if let's say they are not in an infant or childcare, how did we, for you guys, right, how did you all expose your children to learn what feelings look like, through pictures and all that. And through this identification, then they become more aware of the different feelings, right? And more importantly, the third point there about learning the words to describe the feelings. So it is important to use the appropriate words, okay, about how we feel. Of course, according to their age understanding, like age appropriate understanding. And as they grow at the stage at where they are now in middle childhood, they will develop more and more complex feelings. Later on, I have a video also to share what this could look like. Okay. I think I already reiterated this part lah. Okay, these changes are related to their language, thinking, and experiences. So how do we label a certain feeling for toddlers and teenagers could look differently. Okay. Another Slido. Okay, I think this should be the last one. What messages about emotions were you exposed to as a child? You know, if you could think back when you were your son's or your daughter's age, what did the adults around you talk or say about emotions? Yeah, let's just see what you have. Fear of doing the wrong thing. What? Mm, okay, so fear, yes, okay. Uh, big boy, big girl cannot cry, yes. Overwhelming. Oh, feelings or emotions are overwhelming. Okay, okay, understand. Um, I'm not saying this might be the message you heard, but what I also hear from others is they find that message emotions are too overwhelming, so let's just avoid it altogether, right? Someone's written on the chat, all emotions, I don't feel I am not good parent. Uh, uh, okay, maybe need to clarify what you mean by all emotions. Okay. Didn't talk about emotions at all. Yeah, that's what we're saying, right? Like totally don't. It's okay to take a break. Okay. I believe if you are feeling overwhelmed, right? Of course, the sadness about getting poor marks, we talk, cannot fail. So scared to express failure. Okay, okay, understand? Control and suppress your emotions. Yeah. Mm. We probably hear the adults telling us that, right? In the past, everything is just a moment. If I can assume what you are saying here is, let's say you are feeling sad or frustrated, the adults around us might say, "Oh, it's just a momentary or temporary feeling. It will be over soon, right?" So that kind of messaging or assurances that the adults or our caregivers may have shared with us, lah, right? Yeah, that's true. I think why I wanted to bring this question up is also to kind of allow us to reflect a little bit, myself included, how do we then allow our children that space to acknowledge emotions, to be able to recognize emotions, we're not here to talk about how our parents parent us, but it's about now, do we do what we used to or how we were used to be exposed to about feelings before, or are we making different approaches? Yeah, so it's really about that reflection lah that I want to invite you all to have. Yeah, so if let's say we never talked about emotions at all. When I was 10 years old, my parents asked me to suppress those feelings. These are all temporary. So do I want to do the same for my children right now? Yeah. So just something for you to think about lah. Okay. Okay. So what can we do? Okay, when in order to allow our children to accept and recognize feelings, okay, is to talk about how that ups and downs are normal. A bit like what you all said, like, oh, these things happen. We cannot always have things going up for us. Things will go down as well, right? So having that kind of conversations with them, okay, and to acknowledge or to affirm that it's okay to have different feelings. Sometimes you are sad, sometimes you are angry, sometimes you are frustrated. you know the most important thing is recognizing that and accepting that you have those feelings. Okay, talk about it. Okay, so in positive parenting, our belief is, to kind of always bring it up to the surface lah, rather than parking it aside. Okay, and we always want to preempt our children about how to recognize such feelings. What happens to you when you feel sad? What happens to you when you feel angry? And what could be the reasons behind? So that could be how conversations about feelings look like. Okay, be emotionally expressive ourselves. Okay, so some parents tell me, Hilia, I'm not the emotionally expressive kind. I think I totally understand. I totally understand that. So find our own way of sharing emotions. Okay. Sometimes it can be things like, oh, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed today. I had a lot of things to do at work. So as simple as that. Oh, my boss asked me to redo the proposal, so I'm a bit frustrated. So, just be able to use some of those words or share some of those emotions with the child. Okay. Yeah, it could be also in the form of non-verbals, right? Faces and gestures. And like I said, share feelings appropriately. Sometimes the mistake that we do is we will share more than we should, right? You know what happened at work, my colleague, you tell all the whole story to the child. Or sometimes when we share with our spouse or, the other adult at home, we forget that the children are there, So we also need to kind of be able to assess whether it's appropriate to talk about some of these things, especially when it's personal sharing, I'm sure you understand maybe about more adult issues like your marital problems or any other problems that may not be appropriate for children to hear. Okay. We spoke about this, helping your child recognize and name the emotion. So if the child comes back, throw the bag and the shoes aside, and then sit in the room and with a black face and sweat down the face and all that. So you want to be able to ask him or her to use his words. How are you feeling? Tell me what is the emotion. Okay. So these are some of the basic words that we always use, right, for children younger or even this age. And we ourselves, like I said, encourage them to be emotionally expressive in a safe manner, not the destroying things around them or hurting themselves. Okay. So usually we want to attend to their feelings, okay, but it sounds like you are very angry, that your teacher scolded you, something like that, so you kind of, when someone hears that, sometimes unknowingly it kind of makes you feel like, oh yeah, this, my mom understands, my dad understands. Okay. And then it can calm the person down. Okay. And then we can also talk about emotions through stories, drama, music, art, whatever there's different ways. So finding out what works or what reaches out to our child is also one thing we need to think about. Okay. Sharing about our own experiences and their experiences as a preteen. Okay. So what difference or similarities could there be? Okay. Okay, so I wanted to show you this video. It's a little long, maybe about 4 minutes, but I thought, hey, it's important enough to know some of these things, or you might already know, but again, just to remind ourselves. Although, okay, the speaker is Daniel Wong. Although Daniel spoke about teenagers per se, but I think we all kind of established the fact that our 9 and 10-year-olds sometimes act like they're teenagers, right? So, but anyway, if all fails, is more of a knowledge for us for our future as our kids grow older. So let's have a look at this, and then we'll hear from you through the group chat. Okay.
Feel like almost anything you say might cause your teens to react badly? Now, I'm not saying it's okay for your teens to be disrespectful, but it's important to understand what's going on behind the scenes, which is causing your teens to be moody. This understanding will help you bridge the gap between you and your teens. Today, I'll explain the 4 major reasons why teens have mood swings. Here's reason number 1. Your teen's brain is developing rapidly. You might think that your teens are just immature and that their brains are underdeveloped. But recent research shows that teenagers' brains are changing at an extremely fast pace. This is a good thing, but it can affect their mood. Through functional magnetic resonance imaging, or fMRI, scientists can see inside the brains of teenagers. Scientists have discovered that there are different rates of development for different parts of a teenager's brain. The limbic system is the part of the brain that deals with emotional responses. It matures much earlier than the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for things like complex decision making, impulse control, and judgment. But this part of the brain takes a lot longer to fully develop. This explains why teens don't always make good decisions and why they have trouble keeping their emotions in check. All this might sound a bit complicated, and you probably didn't click on this video to learn all about neuroscience. But it's important to know that there's an imbalance in the developmental rates of these two parts of teenagers' brains. This causes them to experience some emotional fluctuations. I'm Daniel Wong, and I specialize in helping teens to thrive. Let's move on to reason number 2. Your teen is going through many hormonal changes. You probably already know that hormones are responsible for physical and sexual development. But hormones also affect your emotions. If your teen is frequently moody, hormones have a significant part to play. For teenage girls, a drop in the hormone estrogen at the end of the menstrual cycle can lead to lower serotonin levels. This can cause irritability, sadness, or anxiety. On the other hand, teenage boys can experience mood swings when there's a fluctuation in testosterone levels. I need to tell you about one more hormone that you might not have heard of before. It's called allopregnanolone. This hormone is released during moments of stress. For adults, it helps to calm the mind. But this isn't the case for teens. Allopregnanolone causes teens to be anxious. And if you've been around an anxious teenager before, you'll understand when I say that anxiety increases irritability and moodiness. If you're finding this video helpful so far, please click the like button. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss out on future videos about helping teens to thrive. Quick question. What frustrating things do your teens do when they're moody? Leave a comment below to let me know your answer. Reason number 3. Your teen is feeling confused. The teenage years are a time of big changes. This often involves confusion surrounding their identity. Teens are no longer children, but they aren't adults yet either. Their identity is unclear, and they feel like they're neither here nor there. The confusion your teens face is real, even if they don't talk about it. What's the effect of this confusion? You guessed it. Mood swings. It's healthy for teenagers to seek independence and develop their own beliefs and goals, which are different from their parents. But this process can be complicated and frustrating, which can also lead to moodiness. Reason number 4. Your teen is feeling stressed. You may have forgotten how stressful it was being a teenager. Peer pressure, worrying about what other people think of you, academic challenges, feeling insecure about your looks, the list goes on. And nowadays, there's social media too. For teens, this can be a bad thing, even if they don't realize it. This is because teens often allow social media to take charge of their lives. What other people post online can affect their confidence and self-image. Trends on social media influence your teenagers' choices and their outlook on life. In many situations, this leads to more stress and worse mental health. And of course, it also leads to teenagers who are moody more often. So if your teens are moody, don't take it personally. Give them some space if they need it, and do your best to empathize with them. When they're calm, you can have a discussion with them about how all feelings and moods are acceptable, but not all behaviors are acceptable. For example, you might decide together with your teens that the following behaviors are unacceptable. Physical aggression, throwing or breaking things, swearing, taunting, name-calling. Of course, these rules would apply to you too if you're in a bad mood. Now you understand what's going on when your teen is moody and how to handle the situation. But there's
Okay, so I'm not gonna show the rest of the video. It's just him sharing about another video, a book that he has written. So if you're interested, you can go to YouTube and find Daniel Wong. But yeah, I thought even though it's a very rather long video, but I thought it's very informative. Yeah, even if our children may not show some of these mood swings that he talks about. And yeah, he acknowledges how things could be different now with social media and all that. So I don't know if my child was still young, I might show this video and speak to him about it together. We watch together and speak to him about it, because I might not be able to explain in a way that he does, So then it can then become a conversation starter for us with our pre-teenagers lah. Okay. I don't know if you have any things, comments or what. Not yet. Okay. But yeah, that's the little video I wanted to share about why our teenagers may, or our pre-teenagers may appear moody, okay, at some of those times. Okay. So how then do we what do you call that, facilitate how they express feelings appropriately, right? Just now Daniel already talked about the rules that we can have, like what's not acceptable, right? We are, the mood is acceptable, but the behavior is not, and what are those behaviors that are not acceptable? So if we have the don'ts, we have to have the do's, right? So how do we do that appropriately? Okay, right. Okay, let me just see. Okay. Okay, so definitely our children, like what the video says, they need to learn what emotional expression is okay. What are the words that we have agreed as a family to talk about certain emotions? Because we have different language or culture or meaning that we attach to certain words, right? So what expressions are okay? What actions are okay? So this is all needful to discuss with our children. Okay. And of course, when to express these feelings. Okay. Who do they go to? How often do they need to talk about feelings? Okay. Or how much? Or, do they need to share some of these feelings? Or how much do they share with someone close or someone not close? So these are all conversations that we can have with our children. Okay. Let's see what the Oh, what is the name of the YouTube channel? Oh, thank you. Thank you, parents, for sharing. Yeah, it's you just go to Daniel Wong channel on parenting teens. Okay? Okay, someone has another message. In the video, it was said that name calling is not acceptable. I have told my daughter to that if I guys do that to her. When she told the teacher told her to ignore it. Okay. Mm, I mean, okay, I assume that she experienced being in that situation, right, where her friends you name calling her, and then she kind of told the teacher and all that. Yeah, so maybe there's a I'm just thinking why might the teacher respond that way. But I think more importantly is we don't know, like, because the teacher is not here, right? For us parents, what we can do is to, like what you did, like acknowledge how she feels about being called certain or labeled certain names, okay? And then you know and you acknowledge that it is okay to feel that way, and then how can she go about resolving it, right? So that she can confront or face that situation that she has with her friends lah. So it's a good advice to tell her to talk to the teacher about it. Okay, so perhaps in context wise, I'm not sure why the teacher told her to ignore, but I might want to also reach out to the teacher myself. Yeah, if let's say the name calling is getting out of hand lah, like there's no stop to it, even though your daughter stands up for herself and all that. Okay, so more importantly, teach her or guide her through how she can stand up for herself, of course inappropriate behaviors, like sometimes I would tell children to go to the friend in a calm manner, okay, and say that I do not appreciate you calling me this or that, right? It hurts my feelings. Okay, I hope you can, or rather, please stop calling me that. Okay, if you don't, then I might need to tell the teacher about it. Something like that. Yeah. So teach her the script or what she could say to the friend. Okay. And I think the thing that we want to emphasize here is to tell the friend how she feels about being called, certain labels that she doesn't like lah, or it's not comfortable. Okay. Yeah, that's my very quick response. Okay. All right. And what emotional expression is not okay? All right. So there are many things that are not okay. A lot of times, like you said, right, that in the video they talk about physical aggression, swearing, or venting it on someone else, another sibling or something like that. So those are examples of expressions that are not okay. So this is the kind of conversation we want to um, start with our children. Okay. and yeah, I talk about family and cultural expectations. Every family and every culture may have different nuances, right? Or what you attach to certain emotions or words. Okay, so that will be something that you need to decide on. Okay. Mm. The other thing that we want to point out also, sometimes it's important to teach children how families or our culture deal with celebration and losses. Okay, some people maybe, in my opinion, could prefer to celebrate in a hush hush way. Some people make a big event out of maybe a success or achievement to celebrate. So it's different. And how children then relate to some of these things, as well as losses. Yeah. As a family or as a cultural group, how do we also use emotions when we experience losses in our lives? Okay. What are traps for parents? Okay, this one can happen to all of us, right? When we accidentally encourage emotional distress. How are we, sometimes our children come back and say, oh, my friend, let's say, took my pencil case and don't want to return it or something like that, or took my friend copied my homework and things like that, right? And then, so again, the first step that we need to take is to remain calm ourselves, right? It's very easy to like also get into that same space as our child and get angry with the classmate, right? Or the friend, right? But how do we try to avoid that? Okay. Sometimes, okay, one of the things is talking too much about our own feelings. Okay. So yeah, how can your classmate do that? How can he take your homework and copy it? I'm so angry, I cannot stand this kind of people. I think he should do this. I think she should. No, so it becomes our issue. Okay. Then rather than attending to what our child is probably going through. Okay. Dwelling on upsetting events. I think sometimes some of us, we kind of just need to talk it through, right? Talk things through, and that's totally understandable. But I think we have to have some kind of thermometer check also lah, or temperature check. Is this getting too much? To be sharing, about our, especially when it's related to maybe our marriage or some problems with our own adult siblings or relatives. Yeah. And then showing too much interest in feelings also may be how to say, not useful for us. Yeah. Like a bit only, want to, oh, how do you feel about that? Oh, you must be feeling this, you must be feeling that. So and then the child will then learn to think that it's okay to feel upset over certain things. Okay, it's okay to feel upset maybe if it's a non-serious matter. Yeah. So being overly sympathetic, okay, is different from being empathetic. Being overly sympathetic, then it's like as if trying to shield the child from having difficult feelings. Okay. Mm. In the triple P term, we call it accidental reward for being upset lah. So the more we pay attention to certain behaviors or certain expression of feelings, the child may get the wrong idea that, hey, if I act this way or if I show these feelings, mom and dad will give in to me. I will get what I want. Then it can become an accidental reward. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, like I think we spoke about this earlier, right? We try to encourage, or we unknowingly encourage them to avoid feelings, avoid getting in touch with emotions. Okay. Or sometimes you overreact, to minor upsets. One good example is if the child fall down and then maybe it's a little scratch, on the leg or the hand, and then we overreact about, oh no, what's good, are you okay? Then we will fuss over the little wound. Sometimes, it is not recommended lah, to just give attention to that particular behavior, but not giving enough attention to other behaviors, like, oh wow, even though you fell down, you got up and continued. with whatever you are doing, you know, and that kind of thing. So yeah, these are some of the traps lah that we may find ourselves in. Okay, so this one is, I think I've shared along the way how we can, talk to our child about feelings. Okay, so some keywords we have in the blue boxes, right? So when you want to, after asking how he feels, listen to what they say, right? It sounds like you are upset or you're angry that your friend took your worksheet or copied your worksheet, right? Summarize what they say. So what you're saying is, while you were not looking, he took your thing, he did this, he did that. So you kind of run down what actually happened. So it doesn't have emotions involved, like daddy is angry or mommy is upset your friend is doing this. So it doesn't, those things don't come. Yeah, it's about the facts of the experience that your child has. Okay. Avoid telling them how they should feel. Okay. Some of us may resonate with this, like, Ayah, don't cry lah. You're such a big boy already. You know, that kind of, no, you should be happy. What? At least this happened. You know, so rather than imposing our feelings lah, I mean our values or our ideas, how he should feel. Okay. So again, teachable moments like using stories and characters, external characters, and then also help our child recognize feelings in others. Okay, so that's what we define as empathy. Okay, yeah. So empathetic listening is about not just about listening attentively, but also acknowledging our child's feelings. No, yeah, you must be very very sad. Give the feeling a name. I have some examples here how we can help our child to learn or to identify their feelings lah. Huh? So this is what we can do. Okay, let's say example, the bus driver yelled at me and everybody laughed, right? So instead of jumping into, blaming the bus driver or blaming everyone else in the bus, you want to kind of name the feeling, right? So the feeling is embarrassment, right? You're embarrassed that this happened to you in the school bus. So the statement you can make is can sound like some of those. They must have been embarrassing, or someone sounds like that made you feel embarrassed. Okay, so it's this is what we mean by how can we identify feelings and at the same time allow our child to accept that, oh yeah, these feelings happen. Okay, so it's not about quickly trying to problem solve. Oh, let me talk to the driver, or let me do this, let me do that. That is the tendency. Sometimes we want to rescue our child from certain mishaps or bad experiences, right? So I have other examples. Okay, the second example, Jane is moving away. She's my best friend. Okay, this one happens quite a bit also when your best friend change school or move away out of the country. So we want to say yes. So the feeling is sad or disappointed. Okay, so you want to offer your child some of these feeling words, and then what is the statement that can be followed through? Yeah, it must be sad for you that Jane is shifting to a new home. Okay, so then so you say, yeah, it's very sad. It's not just sad, it's something else. So what else? So it's like conversation starter lah. Yeah. Okay. We had a science test today, but I couldn't get anything right. So the feeling is frustration. Okay. And again, we could also be expressive ourselves, right? Remember, oh no, looks like what happened made you feel very, very frustrated. Okay. I mean, yeah, this may sound a bit like technical, but I think you will have ways to kind of acknowledge or make statements to acknowledge your child's feelings lah. More importantly is don't jump into rescuing or stopping them from feeling that way. Okay? Okay, about encouraging children. I think we do not want to just talk about giving praise or acknowledging them when they have good feelings. But when they have negative feelings, we can also say, no, I'm grateful that you are sharing with me about what happened or how you feel when your friend is moving away or when your friends laughed at you. So show that appreciation so that the child knows that, hey, my parents, uh, you know, uh, uh, they understand, they hear me, They do not ask me to move on quickly with my feelings, you know, things like that. Yeah. So just some examples of how we can give positive attention. So if you see the child and the friend, doing things together, happily, then you can also make that comment. Or you can also make a comment about how he or she is able to regulate the emotions, right? When something bad happens. Okay. Yeah. Like I said, congratulate the child for managing difficult situations with specific praise. Okay. Okay, the next part is about dealing with inappropriate expression of feelings. Okay. So those are some of the example, right? The angry, hurtful, disrespectful behavior. So the scenario that I placed here is maybe Peter is upset because Sally, uh, assuming that's the sister lah, the sibling, snatched his game console. So he pulls her hair and yells for her to return it to him. Okay, so we know this is an inappropriate expression of feelings, right? Of course, we are upset when someone snatches something that we are doing or focusing on. Yeah, but how do we do this? How do we want to be consistent in our discipline approach? Is to first acknowledge the feelings. Okay, yes, I know you're upset that Sally took your game console away. So, but we must be specific what we need him to stop doing, right? You cannot pull her hair, okay? And give a brief explanation why. I think, yeah, she might be hurt, or that's painful, okay? Tell your child what to do instead, Okay, how can we coach the child, right? How to calmly tell the sister or tell Sally how he feels when his things are taken away or snatched away, right? But if the behavior or the inappropriate expression of feelings continue, then we use consequences, okay, that we talked about last week. All right. And of course, we ourselves uh, can model better ways of how to express feelings. So I think we mentioned last week, children watch us all the time, you know. So if I mean, I'm not saying that we must always be very, very alert, right? How we express our feelings, but um, it's good to take that step back sometimes when we can feel that our temperature is going up, right? And we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Okay. All right, the third building block. So we are halfway through. Uh, Hopefully, yeah, by 11:10 we can take more questions. Okay. So, yeah, building a positive outlook. It's like some ask me, Hilia, what do you mean by building a positive outlook? Why is this part of triple P? Because what children's feelings are related to what they think about and tell themselves. Okay, the self-image at this age especially, right? Remember last week I showed you the table, right? On there's identity formation is happening at this point, okay, at this age range. Okay, so it's very important, okay, to kind of see the link here lah, okay. And how we play a part is um to develop ways in which it can heighten their sense of positive identity lah, positive outlook about themselves. Okay. Yeah. So things like optimistic thinking. Okay. Say for example, our child wants to go to a secondary school. Maybe because okay, maybe through DSA, right? Maybe very good in a sport or a CCA, and then so let's develop that goal with them using initiatives. Look for the positive side. Okay, what have you achieved so far in this CCA that could help you? Your in your ambition to get to that secondary school. Okay. And then the other thing about optimistic thinking is also to allow them to experience achievement. Sometimes children, or even us adults, we tend to be pretty negative or pessimistic because we don't know how it feels like to achieve success, to feel that we've done a good job, to feel that we've taken the right step. So we can plan for something small for our child to experience a sense of achievement. Maybe as simple as planning a birthday party for grandpa or for the younger sibling, or when we go for family holiday, go and research what we can do, at that country, so and then when we are able to see the outcome of their so-called work or effort, and then we do the usual, the praising, the acknowledging their efforts and all that. So that's a kind of achievement that children can experience as well. And inevitably it will develop their sense of confidence and control over things, right? So these are some elements of how optimistic thinking can be developed in our children. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Being curious and exploratory, meaning not always. I think we spoke a little bit about this, if I'm not wrong, about not just always giving the answers. Yeah, sometimes we know the answers. Okay, we are going to, uh, let's say we are going to which country should we go? Maybe we're just going to Malaysia, okay? We're going to a beach holiday somewhere in Malaysia. Maybe, then, okay, go find out what are the attractions there. What can we do there? What's appropriate, for our family to do there? Then, instead of us giving the answers, we kind of be curious, allow our child to also exercise their curiosity, like, about certain things, like other places, what we can do and all that. Okay? Take interest in the world. Okay, that's what I was trying to explain lah. How the children can be more curious about what's out there, and then allow them to find things to do. Okay, contentment, gratitude, things like that. This sometimes parents will tell me that, oh, my child is always asking for more and more. It's always can't be grateful or contented with what we have. So how do we instill this outlook, this mindset? Um, Perhaps one maybe obvious way you all might also know is, tell stories or show videos about, how maybe children in other places may not be as fortunate as us, things like that. So this could be one way lah. Okay. Appreciation, empathy, yeah, showing allowing them some of these experiences lah, so that they can feel that sense of contentment. Yeah. Okay, so it's similar to encouraging optimism lah. Positive outlook, optimism is the similar thing. Okay, so this is just highlighting what it means lah. Okay. So more importantly, if you look at that last bullet that I just showed, right? Show how your child has control over events. Okay. When someone who is optimistic, who is confident, who has a positive attitude, they will be convinced, or they will be okay if things may not work their way. Okay. So it doesn't mean that you want to apply DSA to XYZ secondary school through, let's say, your badminton CCA, something like that. But what if, certain things happen, or, there's maybe a subject that you may not be able to do as well, all the what ifs lah that we talk about in problem solving, right? So that, you may not have control over certain things, but what do you have control of? Then that's how they can be more optimistic. Okay. And of course, the encouragement in pointing out exactly what they do well in. Okay. What do you think you have done well? What will you do differently? So the what if questions is also very important. Okay. How do we encourage curiosity? I think it's about also allowing them to have choices. Okay. Ask them, what do you all want to do? I know some parents will tell me, yeah, when I ask them where they want to go for dinner, where they want to go for holiday, they will say don't know. They will say don't know. But sometimes we can give choices, yeah, A, B, or C. Okay, then if you want A, how come? B, how come? Things like that. So in a way, it allows that sense of curiosity to happen lah. Like, oh, you like B because it's a there's a lot of things we can do at the beach there, for example. So go find out more, so encouraging them to like substantiate their decision, okay? And show our interest towards this, okay? And definitely be available lah when they want to show you something. Let's say they already do the itinerary, very nicely, and then you want to show them, and then you say, yeah, later lah, then already that part of encouraging curiosity kind of gets taken away from them lah. Okay. So yeah, some of the other steps are quite self-explanatory. We talk about encouraging contentment. Again, we need to be the role models for that. It can be, I give the example of showing videos about other children overseas, but you can even start about asking about their own days, which I believe many of you have already done lah. Okay. I mean, the other points are quite straightforward, but I want to highlight or strengthen the last point again, encouraging them to slow down and, just enjoy what's out there. I mean, it's not easy, I know, because of the demands of school or even our own demands, as maybe some of us are working parents, or even if we are working from home, or business owners or homemakers. There's all the different demands. But I think more importantly is, if we want to encourage contentment, we have to be able to reflect on what's good that's happening around us. So that's why it's about slowing down lah. Okay. Okay, what else do we have? We are at building block 4. Okay, try to go as fast as I can. Okay. Yeah. So coping skills are skills that help us deal with negative emotions. Okay. We have, of course, problem solving skills. How do we talk or give for positive self-talk? Okay. Meaning talking back to unhelpful or negative talks. Okay. So sometimes we have these voices in our head, or our internal voices that says that, no, nah lah, Hilia, you cannot make it lah, you're so I don't think you can, solve that problem, you're always so, negative, things like that. Then it just draws us back, right? Of course, how do we relax and how do we ask for help? So helping problem solving. Again, the keyword here is setting a good example for our children. Okay. There are games that also promote thinking and problem solving. Okay. And then we don't want to be the ones who always give the answers. So even if we know the answers, we need to refrain from telling them what the answers are. Just encourage them to go find the answers, to go solve the problems, and come to us for guidance lah. Okay. And of course, again, affirm and congratulate them, and involve them in family problem solving. So family meetings, or with the way to go. I'm not talking about big family problems, but perhaps, something that you think your child at their age, at 9, 10, or 11 or 12, is appropriate for them to be part of that family meeting. Okay. Okay, just a quick video on problem solving.
Problem solving involves more than just asking why. It also requires asking what if. It's about helping children find answers to questions that haven't yet been answered. We have to give children the freedom to come up with their own answers as they work through their understanding of the world. As we watch this child working with blocks, as a preschooler, he doesn't necessarily understand the formal concept of balance, but he's learning that putting square blocks on top of rounded ones is more likely to make his tower tumble. Given that the process of figuring out an answer is more important than just getting it right, you can help your child imagine how the world could be instead of just how it is. It's as simple as asking plenty of why and what if questions at home.
Rich is a great kid. We constantly challenge him now at an early age. So, we hope that those challenges now will make him a great person in the future.
Yeah, so it talks about the what if questions that we shared. Okay, so if you remember, the speaker said that it's not about just finding the answers to the problem, but it's the process of going through that problem solving steps. Okay, that in itself is a most necessary skill that we need to expose our children to. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this sorry. Yeah. So these are some steps we can put into practice if there are problems that our children may face with in their day to day. It's nothing new. Okay, even as adults, this is what we do. It's just a matter of how conscious we are. Okay, let's use this example that I have here. Okay, so maybe and similar example I had earlier, right? About your son sharing that the classmate took the favorite pen when he was packing up. So he asked you what should he do if this happens again, right? So we need to clarify the problem. Like, what is the issue? What are you really worried about? Like, or perhaps you say, oh, this is not the first time. I thought maybe there was before this, maybe he accidentally took my pen, but seems that he was aware that it was not his. So set a goal with the child. So what do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Or it's okay, I don't need my pen back, but I just want to know how come. Why did he take my pen? Something like that, right? Or think of several possible solutions, as to what are you going to do? How are you going to approach your friend about it? At what when are you going to do that? What are the words or questions you're going to use? So really specifically talk about the several possible approaches, right? And then, okay, so consider the likely consequences. So if you ask him about that, pen the other day he took, what might he say if you were him? Or he might say, I didn't take it. Oh, I forgot. Oh, are you sure? He might be defensive. Or, there could be some other consequences that the friend might, in a way, how the friend might respond. Okay. So then this is still discussing with the child. So then let's say we have three possible approaches to this. Then he can select the best option and decide on the plan, and maybe can also practice how to do it, and then try it out in school. Let's say the next day, the next couple of days when he goes back to school, can try to ask the friend, or consider, or rather use that option that he has chosen, right? Yeah. And then if it doesn't work out, or if it does work out, it's also useful to review. Okay. All right. Yeah. So very, very, I know I did it very quickly, but what I'm saying is, we do not give the answers lah. We encourage our child. I think at this middle childhood or pre-teen age years, it is important for us to sit them down to go through problem solving. Okay. What should I tell the kid to do? Okay, I'm not sure what the parent is asking, but I think if you're talking about this scenario, like I said, we do not want to jump into telling him what to do. We want to hear from him. What do you think can be done? Yeah. So that is always the crucial step. Okay. So that's why we want to remember we say we want to be curious. We want to be able to encourage them to think positively and all that. So we want this could be one platform lah, right? Okay, so building positive self-talk. Sometimes we want to ask our child to evaluate their achievements, So let's say okay lah, typical lah, they come back with their report card, or their, the assessment card and all that. And then get them to share about what they did well, okay? Or where they think they could have done better. So it starts with a positive evaluation of their achievements lah. Yeah. I have it there. What do you think you did well? What would you have done differently? And then this could also become a teachable moment where we explain to them how different ways affects how you feel. So even if they look at the report card and they only focus on maybe they didn't do as well as their classmate, or they only improve by 2 marks, So how do we then, kind of run through or work through some of this negativity with our child lah. Then yeah, sometimes we want to encourage empathy. We can also prompt them to think about what others might think or feel, you know, or just not just necessarily empathy. Just no, if someone got, let's say, the marks that you get, how do you think he or she might feel? Might she be happy? Might she feel sad? So yeah, not just talk about the child, but the people around him as well. Yeah, and of course we can also point out lah, whether what he's saying, is it useful or not useful, kind of thinking. Okay, and again, model positive self-talk. Okay. Okay, we have a little illustration here from one of our MWS colleagues. So let's see about this. Okay.
Son, how are you? Now come, let's chit chat about your PSLE. How are you feeling about your preparation?
I'm feeling very lousy. I think I'm gonna fail for sure. And not gonna be the same school as my friends. Because the grades are really going to downhill.
Okay, let's look at it another way, okay? Okay, now tell me, have you scored well for your maths before?
No.
How about last year, P5? How much did you get at the end of the year? Can you remember?
I got 90.
You got 90, right? So you are able to do it, right?
Yeah.
So, but we just need to put a little bit of effort. Okay, so now I want you to say something positive with me, okay? Because if you say things that are negative, you tell your brain that you are really done. Okay, so try to say some things positive with me, okay? Say, I control the effort,
I control the effort,
not the outcome.
not the outcome.
I control the effort,
I control the effort,
not the outcome.
not the outcome.
I can train my brain.
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 Okay, son, we're gonna get through this year, okay? And you must remove negative talk and start thinking positively. Can do?
Can.
Okay, we're gonna do step by step. Okay? Remember, you have achieved before, you can do it again. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, good. Proud of you, son. Son.
Okay, so that's a little role play lah. It's scripted, in a way to show parents how we can actually show or model how to think positively. Okay, definitely there are times where our children did okay. Right? It's not always that things are going downhill like the boys say. So give them that space to identify when they think they did better lah, or they did well enough. Okay, and then we can coach them how to positively talk to themselves about their worries or their achievements. Okay, all right.
Son.
The other thing is about we talk about how we can help children relax. Okay, so definitely, again, we need to be the good role model, how to show them that we can manage stress healthily, safely. Okay, and help them find ways to relax. Okay, different children will have different ways to keep calm, just like ourselves. So these are just very basic strategies over here that we have pointed out for you. So it's a matter of finding out what works for your child. Okay, so let's see one of the examples here.
There's so much heat when I want to play things. It just takes away from the
Sender, stop please. Sender, stop please. Thank you. You are destroying the cushion. Okay, that's not right. Okay, you're angry with your brother. Okay, I want you to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, calm down. One more time. Well done. Okay, now I want you to go and take a drink of water. Okay, and then come back and then we will talk about this. Okay, go. Good boy.
Okay, so that's one way we can help our child is probably something that we have discussed before. My suggestion would be uh, uh, find opportunities to have such conversations before the child, is feeling stressed or feeling upset over something. So then we can find out what works best for him or her, and then we can practice that when necessary lah. Okay, so that's just one way of helping our child relax. And you could see that the parent also has to keep calm. Okay, we can what do you call that? Knowingly also, like just now I said, like overly talk about ourselves. Hell, are you and your brother forever fighting? Da, 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 da. It becomes about us. So it's important to take that step back, like we talked about. Okay. Let me see what's in the chat. This is not working for my kid. Okay. Parents who may have very specific concerns, I think last or 2 weeks ago, we did share about one-to-one consultation that we can also have at MWS. We have a team of colleagues who can see you on a one-to-one basis to specifically customize what can be done for your situation lah. So yeah, later on at the end, I will also show you the form that you can fill up for that. Okay? Yeah. LOL. In realistic, parents also hard to self-control. Correct. I was just saying that, right? When things are chaotic and all that. So yeah, it's very, very hard. I acknowledge it's not easy, you know. But I think we talked about self-care last 2 weeks, right? So if we are not in that position to manage, then we need to just, at least they won't be fighting physically or hurting each other, right? We can tell them, okay, no, I need you all to go to separate places in the house. One go to room A, room B, and then when we are all less angry, or we are all not angry anymore, we will come and talk about it. So still have to have that self-regulation technique lah at the start, to at least what do you call that, separate the children if let's say they are really fighting and it's chaotic. Okay, but the most important thing is to come back to it. So we have to find our ways of relaxation as well. Okay, maybe leaving the house might not be the best idea at that point, because the two of them might continue fighting. But how can we also maybe relax by breathing exercises or whatever, so that we can attend to our children lah when we are calmer. Okay, just give it a try. I think you can. Okay. All right. Yeah. So looking for support, I think giving our children that space, or that, I can't think of another word lah, the permission that it's okay to talk about how you feel. Okay, when you need help. Okay, that it's how it has benefited you. For example, when mommy or daddy's feeling stressed from work, I will talk to so and so. I will go and go for a jog. I will do this and that. So telling our children what can be done, and definitely as children, they might need to kind of express their feelings appropriately to someone they trust lah, especially parents. Okay. So yeah, so sometimes I will encourage children or even parents to just use your 5 fingers and choose. Okay, I have 4 examples here in the slide, but we can choose 5 people, adults that we trust, that we can talk to. Okay, who's the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5? Okay, so ask them to identify. Sometimes we will draw the palm for the younger kids, right? Draw the palm, put the names or the phone numbers there, and put on their notice board or on the fridge, something like that. Okay, so something visual for them to remember that, oh yeah, when I feel this way, I can talk to someone I trust. Okay, we are at building block 5, a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, this one is about negative emotions, and it happens to all of us. Okay, every child will have negative emotion for sure. And like I said from the start, we cannot completely protect them, right? When they're in school, when they're out there, where we are not around, we can't be there to tell them, oh no, don't feel negatively. yeah, even though many emotions may pass quickly, but it's also about, how we can allow children to, hold that space in that negative emotion. And then, okay, once you're okay with it, let's talk about how to resolve those feelings lah. Okay. So this scenario that I have put here, the daughter Divya has been feeling upset that no one in class wants to be friends with her. Okay. The other girls from mother tongue calls her weird and do not want to include her in their group. So she tells mom about how she feels and started to talk about not going to school. So this actually was a scenario that it's quite a true story lah, that I encountered a young girl. I think she was 11. So I changed the story a little bit so it's non-identifiable, but basically this was how she felt. And because she was just very quiet, very quite when her friend calls her weird because she likes to talk, her interest is in the supernatural. So her friends do not like to talk to her because she will talk about the supernatural stuff for some reasons lah. So yeah, this is one scenario that we can see how we can talk to our child about, that negative feeling. No one wants to be friends with me. They call me weird. I don't want to go to school like this, because I'm always alone. Yeah. So this is like a visual representation. If you want to screenshot, you can do it. But it will also be in the tip sheets that we will be sending or have sent to you, about how we can manage our child's emotions lah. Of course, we have to notice when our child is upset. So being attuned, right, to our child's feelings, our child's moods is most important. Sometimes we are too busy that, we just leave our child to their own devices, right? So yeah, so this is step by step. Some steps may be useful for you and your child. Some maybe you can combine. But yeah, I wanted to just show this in a diagram form. Yeah. So it's easier for us to look at lah. Okay. Let's see. I have some things on the chat. Where can I get one-to-one counseling for my child? Yeah, so just as I shared, I will show you the QR code at the end, okay? Where you can register or write in your interest. Okay, many times I notice parents are scared to be bad in a certain. Many problems grow from fearing facing uncomfortable situations. Sometimes you might not like it, you might hate me for this, but I have to do this. Yes, exactly. Mm. Oh, okay. So you also take this approach where, okay, I can hear you, I can listen to you, but end of the day, I'm more responsible and I have to make the final decision. I hear you that as parents, sometimes we have to have that firmness and assertiveness, right? I think it's about the process that we want to expose our children to, that process of problem solving, that process of talking through what if situations, that process of talking through possible consequences, So that's why we kind of want to take a step back, to kind of let them have that kind of experience lah of thinking things through. We may have the answers, yes. So I might approach it in such a way that, yeah, I hear what you're gonna do could work, but is it okay if maybe I just offer you a suggestion if what I might do if I'm in your situation. So it's a bit less like top down. I tell you, you must do this, So yeah, I think it's more of, having that conversation in a equal platform lah. Yeah, then I think the impact would be more long term for the children because they experience how it's like to problem solve. Yeah. Okay. So another illustration on our role as parents. Okay. What can we do when we bringing our child through a problem solving process? Okay. So some of the points that I have is repetitive lah, right? About positive self-talk and also how we can teach them some relaxation techniques or even some distraction techniques. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. The last building block is about stressful life events. Okay. I'm sure you would agree that this is not a complete list. There are many stressful life events our children can be exposed to. Okay. So these are just some. Then there could be some that happen at different stages of their growing up years. Okay. Whether planned, unplanned, every change is stressful lah, and to what extent is the stress? Okay, right? So usually this for this segment, we're talking more about major events. Okay, so it's important for us to reassure them of their safety lah. So basically, it's about being present through the crisis for them. Okay, say for example, parents have decided to separate or divorce, get a divorce and all that, right? So apart from trying to resolve the adult issues surrounding the divorce, it is important for us to also be present for the children lah, because we do not want to leave them to think and assume things that might not be true. Okay? Yeah. And if they are upset, example, I'm just talking about, potentially if a separation needs to happen, then we allow the child to feel upset about that, Do not be too quick to tell them, no, you will still have mommy and daddy. We'll just stay in different homes, So it's also sometimes cutting off the child from feeling his actual feelings, okay? Okay, so ask what happened is usually if the child comes home and tell you something happens lah, or at home with a sibling or with another family member. Okay, and always try to look at something positive after you allowing him that space to feel the feeling, and then we have to pepper it with something positive, and then again the reassurance needs to happen, and don't be too quick to solve the problem lah. I think what I have learned personally also as a parent is to say that I do not know the answer. I do not have a solution for your problem now, but let me think about it, or let me discuss with so and so, So I think we don't have to have the answers all the time at that point in time. Okay. All right. So other things quite straightforward, think about, oh, okay, since you had such a bad day, let's go for ice cream or whatever they like lah. And yeah, and remember, if we have had that conversation about positive coping skills, what they can do to make themselves feel better, then it's just a reiteration of that. Okay. And it's always important to check in later. Okay, not just say, okay, the child is okay already after we've what do you call that, gone for a walk, or things like that, but then we forgot to like follow through after that. Okay, and then of course seek professional advice if the problem continues lah. Okay, I just wanted to give some examples, okay, about moving house. So I think, I'm sure lah, many parents will already prepare the child. I mean, at this age, the child is old enough to know what moving house means and all that. So I think we talked earlier about planning a holiday. So it's similar to how we need to involve the children in certain changes lah. That's going to affect them as well. Okay. We talked about dealing with losses. Let's say a death of a family member or a grandparent, or a cousin, so considering their developmental level, and I think at this stage of middle childhood, they're able to understand, right, death and dying, just at different levels. So yeah, we kind of allow them to go through that feeling of loss, feeling of emptiness. Okay, but of course our reassurance has to always be there lah. And sometimes okay, if you look at the third bullet from below, right, a lot of time the same loss also affects us. Okay, and it's very hard to both attend to someone else who's feeling the loss and to attend to our own emotions about the loss. So very, very important to get someone else who's more in a better position lah, emotional position. Okay. All right. Okay, we've come to the end. Just nice. I hope I have enough time to answer other questions. Just a summary of what we did or what we shared this morning. It's important to lay the foundations of emotional resilience in early childhood. But I know our children in this group may be older, so that it's never too late, to start something now. I think given this day and age where things are, all the internet, a lot of things on social media and all that, at least from my experience, if we know how to use it in a way to teach our children, positively, I think it's a powerful tool. Okay. Yeah, talking about how emotional skills are important for later life, right? And also how our children are learning from us. Okay, how we manage our own emotions. Okay. So these are the role that we can play. Remember the 5 main things we can help children to learn emotion or to develop emotional resilience. Okay. So yep. All right, this is just a summary of the 3 seminars. Okay. So yes, let's see if anyone has a question, any questions or comments or thoughts or alternative ideas you might have in terms of developing children's emotional language, emotional literacy. Yeah. You can write in the chat. Agree. Okay. Yeah. So as you think about what you might want to ask or clarify, there were a couple of questions, frequently asked questions that I brought up earlier, right? So there's this idea of how to encourage our child to open up, right? So usually it's about maybe when they are a bit moody or they're not sure how to bring up a sensitive topic to us or difficult conversation to us. Yeah. So sometimes we have to be comfortable with the non-response from the child. Okay. So we notice the child is upset, the child is not being himself or herself. But I think just going into the room or wherever he is to just say that, you don't need to say anything. Just want you to know whatever you're going through, I am more than happy to hear about it. And I'm here to, help you go through it together. Something to that extent. Just assuring the child that you are there. Because the first, second, third time, he or she might not respond, might not want to say, just maybe continue looking at something else or just, the standard pretending to sleep, right? When you talk to them in their bed. Yeah. So just be there. I mean, it's like talking alone, talking to yourself, but I think that's one of the first step to telling the child that, there's nothing wrong with sharing maybe how you feel, and then remember earlier on we also talked about maybe open up have some appropriate disclosure about ourselves also when we were teens. How did we resolve certain issues? Yeah, so appropriate disclosure means don't need to maybe share too much details unless you think it's okay or you assess it to be necessary. So talk about your own experiences. This is at this age, I think children they appreciative when we tell them stories that they could relate to. Yeah. Sometimes we make up stories, but I think for the sake of, trying to get that connection with the child, or that creating that safe space lah for the child to share. Okay, so that one is about the what do you call that? Getting the child to open up. And of course, when he or she does open up eventually, then must thank him or her lah, must show appreciation. I'm glad that I'm grateful that you've shared, whatever, whatever words or whatever actions you can do, to assure him or her that yes, sharing your feelings, sharing your emotions, expressing yourself is most appreciated. Okay. Okay, I think I have a question here. How to talk to the kid when she said she don't care everything, don't care about career or health, or when she feel angry. Okay. So, remember just now I said sometimes we ourselves need to feel comfortable with it. Like sometimes we don't need to attend to it there and then, right? So if the child is clearly angry, just say, okay, I know you're very upset, very angry right now. I'm not gonna talk to you about anything yet. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna be outside in the kitchen if you need me. Things like that. Just what do you call that? Emphasize your presence. Yeah, your presence. Rather than just ignore. Like, yeah, she will get over it, or no point talking to her, So it's also the perception, or rather our perception and how our perception shows in our behavior. So if we show interest, yes, maybe the first 2-3 times the child may not even listen. But I think if we persist enough and gradually, I think it will help. And how to talk to the kid is, I think, let me go back to that slide. The pink color one. Wait. Eh, sorry, wait. Let me go back to the slide. Okay. Okay. Can you see this slide? Yeah. So how can we talk to the child? Set a good example is also when we are upset ourselves lah, right? We can think about when did we show good examples, okay? And then maybe we can use that as a story or a conversation starter. Remember that day when daddy or mommy feeling angry about something, this is what I did, remember? So I think sometimes when we are angry and we don't want to make ourselves even more upset, we can do this. Okay. Talk about being anxious. Talk about anxious feelings. What I mean by this is, it's sometimes very scary to tell someone how you really feel. So that's why in anger is always the surface. It's always the first feeling that everyone can see on top. If you are looking at the sea, right? It's on in the surface of the sea. But until you swim and dive down, then you can have a better picture of what's really going on inside. Okay, so it's very anxiety provoking to share how we actually feel. So that's why sometimes it's easier to show anger. So then we can slowly bring in coping strategies, like what we talk about, the relaxation technique of what ways can help her or him calm down, or feel less upset lah. And then if let's say they are fearful about the upcoming exams, or there's a audition or something they need to go for the CCA. So it's okay. How do you, I mean, you cannot totally control everything, right? Yes, you cannot you can control how you feel, but you cannot control how the audition or the exams is going to turn out. Nobody knows, right? So how do you also set realistic expectations for yourself? That would help in uh how to say, minimizing the fear lah. Okay. And definitely, I think I did. If I go down to the second row, right, I never say this enough lah. Staying calm ourselves. Okay, I've learned it the hard way about staying calm also. But how sometimes when we are not calm, we will be surprised how our children also react, right? So yeah, so I think it's very, very important to really, really have that mindset stuck in us lah. Like we need to stay calm. And then yeah, prompt about, okay, remember we talked about the coping strategies that could help you feel better. What are all those things? Again, the praising, and then talk about dangerous situations. What we mean by this is maybe giving examples of, maybe other teenagers or other children who might maybe go into or face some mental health concerns, or, they take up what vices like smoking and all that, because they are not able to talk through their difficult feelings. I mean, you have to assess lah, how much your child is able to take, but it's more of the what if situations lah, sharing the what if situations. Yeah. So I don't know if my response is helpful to the parent, but I think um if if you're comfortable with staying in that discomfort, but just be present for the child and continue to tell her or him that you are here. Okay, you're not going to judge how what he or she is going to say. Yeah. Mm, let me see. Seminar. Yes, yes. Thank you for those reminder also, right? About how we recenter ourselves. Yep. You're most welcome. I think I wouldn't be able to share if not for your prompts and your questions as well. Anyone else? Then I will go to the last, the QR code I was talking about, right? Okay, so there are two. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, so this one is, if for those parents who asked about one-to-one sessions, okay, you can go to the link or scan this QR code, and then there will be a form and all that that our colleagues at MWS will follow up with. Okay. For those parents who may not have any other concerns or questions to clarify, would appreciate if you could give us some feedback, okay, through this QR code, okay, about our session on the 13th, as well as today, and how we can maybe do things differently as well. Okay. Okay, sorry, there's one question. How to respond if my child say I hate school because I need to wake up early from the earlier side? Which things you should feel? Oh, yeah, I think for this context is, I mean, school is not like, I mean, it's a kind of something that the child has to go through, right? So I think we also don't want to go into a conversation of contentment and being grateful and all that. This is about following rules, and complying with consequences that come with the rules. Okay. Mm, uh, I hate school because I need to wake up early. I mean, for me, the question is, he or she may have already been uh, going through this routine, but how come now it's uh, I don't like it because I need to wake up earlier? But why suddenly? I'm sure all these years have had to wake up earlier, right? Even preschool time. If let's say the preschool is in the morning lah, starts in the morning. So I would be curious as to what could have happened in school, probably or at home that could trigger this kind of what do you call that, reaction from our child. Okay, so I might want to try and reflect, did something happen at home that from him being okay about waking up, then suddenly now don't want to wake up for school already. And then, you need to notice or think about what could have triggered the change. Yeah, that would be one of the steps that needs to be done lah. So it could be something that's happening at home or something that's happening in school. So I might go the other angle by asking, what happened in school? How come? More of like being curious, finding out about, okay, if you don't have to wake up early, will you still go to school? So that can help you to find out whether is it about the school or is it about waking up early? Is it about going to school or is it about waking up early? And if it's really cannot wake up early, what is when we talk about waking up early, it's got to do with is he or she having enough sleep, right? So kind of need to really go backwards to think about how come not having enough sleep, Yeah. So ma'am, I think I appreciate this question that you have given here, but yeah, I may not be able to share in totality. You might want to opt for the one-to-one consults if you think this is a very long-standing problem. Otherwise, I might, like what I say, I might find out first what triggered the change. Okay? Any other question? Okay, thank you. I mean, everyone has been thanking me, but I think thank you very much. I mean, it shows a lot that you are here listening to us on a Saturday morning. I'm sure your parenting journey will be one of the most memorable. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the weekend. Okay. And yeah, take care.